have an irrational hatred for goals, okay? So let's unpack it. So I am painting a lovely tree trunk photo that I took, let me tell you when I took it, March of this year. I have way older reference photos that I probably should have painted, but I was obviously drawn to this one. It was taken in the Borgana Nature Reserve. Questionable pronunciation, but we'll live with it. This was a great artwork. I just wanted to kind of focus in on the details and not care about the end result, but that's all you really need to know. Here's the reference photo. That's it. Hope you enjoy. This is a little bit of disclaimer. This is a disclaimer for the disclaimer, more so a disclaimer for the entire video actually. There's a lot of verbal dribble in this video and I say a lot of things wrong and I'm terrible with sayings. So please be aware of that. If you're after a well-scripted video, go to my previous one. But I know that goals can be a very powerful tool. And I know the logical and rational side of me is aware that goals are just a really capable tool and incentive for so many people. Like, I get it, I understand it, I love it. But for some reason, it just ignites a visceral hatred in me. And it's so illogical, but obviously it's enough for me to make this video. Actually, it's not. I need to talk about something while you watch me paint because my painting process is quite boring and I don't know what else to talk about. So this is what I'm talking about. I guess we should probably start with how I even discovered my hatred for goals, because I feel like it's a very nuanced hatred to have. I'm hoping that some other people out there have this hatred and just visceral reaction to people being like, what are your goals in life? What are your goals in this section or whatever? Oh, it annoys me. I probably got onto it because obviously being an artist on social media, you kind of get used to failure quite a lot. I want to say artists in general are quite used to failure in their lives because trying to be a successful artist is a bit of a complicated career choice, I want to say. That would be my wording. But obviously sometimes when posts are doing bad on social media or not doing the best, you start researching. Like anyone nowadays, there's so many good resources online. You start researching these possible things that could help you or benefit you. So obviously I went through the deep dark hole of like how to succeed online as an artist, or like what you should be doing in your posts. And I think every single video with those topics always, of course, starts with what is your goal on the platform, or what is your goal on social media, or what is your goal as an artist. And again, the rational side of me gets it. I understand you need a goal to work towards, to, you know, you have an end result, you can create little things to help you reach that goal. But for some reason, anytime a video starts with that, I fucking hate it. It drives me insane. And the only way I can describe it is because, you know, it is my own fault. Like, I guess you can say I don't have a vision, or I don't have anything to aspire to. That sounds really dramatic, but it's like, I do struggle with having a vision of where I want to be. Like, oh, where do you want to be on social media? Like, what am I going to say? Oh, I want 50,000 followers, or like, you know, oh, like, I guess my goal is to be selling art at some point, but again, that's changed over the years. I have the goal of improving my art. Like, I have very loose things like that, but I don't, as soon as I want to put a goal on something, I feel I feel so claustrophobic. I feel like it's suffocating for some reason. Maybe I have commitment issues. That's probably another thing. That's to be unpacked in another video. I find it so restricting, and it makes me feel like I have no thought process and I can't think. Another thing to add is, like, when all these videos ask me like, oh, what are your goals? Or like, what do you want to achieve? When I don't have an answer, it makes me feel as if I'm almost like, oh, am I lazy? Am I just not a motivated person? Am I not like passionate enough? Do I not deserve whatever I'm working towards because I don't have a specific goal or vision in mind? That's just to do with how success is seen as a society, or like externally in comparison to what I'm after. Like, I'm not by all means a lazy person. Like, if you know me, I like am a to-do list person. I I constantly am just trying to do as much as possible in my day because there's so much I do want to achieve and so much I want to do with my time. But for some reason, I could do to-do lists, you know? You could see that as my little form of like goal setting is to-do list, because I love that. I love achieving stuff. I love smashing out things, and I love getting as much done as possible. Like, I really am a busybody. But again, why the fuck do I hate goals so much? Like, why? Oh, why do I hate them? I don't know. If I'm already quite a consistent and productive person, then why on earth do I hate goals? I think it's because I've really fallen out of love with the idea of success. And that probably has a lot to do with my upbringing, upon reflection. But also I think it's going from that early 20-year-old to mid-20s. Throughout high school and early 20s, I feel like you're constantly told what success looks like, what success is, and how to be successful. And you were told this by so many like external factors or people. Like, you've got school telling you what it looks like, you've got your family telling you what it looks like, you've got friends telling you what it's look like. You're either, especially after high school, you're looking at all your friends and, you know, it's a constant measure of success. You've got social media, which is weird because there's obviously genuine people who are doing well, and then you've got the fake people who are trying to show that they're doing well, but they might not be. The few years after high school, I literally spent most of my time trying to figure out what I actually liked and what I actually wanted out of life. Sounds very dramatic. Oh, I don't like that, but it is true. That's why I'm actually slowly becoming a lot happier with life, because I'm starting to accept that what other people want in life and what I want in life might differ, and we all have, you know, success is so subjective, even though we're told it looks like something, or you have to do something to get it, or you must be goal setting to get it, or you must be doing something to be successful. And I think I've just kind of lost love for that idea. I think as a kid, I really wanted to be successful, and I really just wanted to be at the top. That's a whole other thing to unpack there, but that's another video. Now I just kind of want to enjoy life, which sounds dumb. It sounds like, oh, you know, that's not that hard, but it's like, it is kind of hard to be grateful and figure out what you want to do in your day to day. My struggle with goal setting and the idea of success probably has a lot to do with my upbringing, because of the environment I was in school, but then the environment that I was in at home, which as a teenager, I went to a private school overseas in an international country. I know, that's fucking privileged. It is very privileged, I am aware. And I would like to have a side note. This whole video is a very privileged take on such a silly topic, but I need something to talk about while you're watching me paint, like, to be honest. This kind of got me chatting, and I'm not a chatter. So that's another thing that's gonna be hard about this video, but I digress. As a teenager, I went to an international private school, very academic system, a very bougie fucking just academic system. I keep saying it was a very academic system, which makes no sense. I don't want to say prestigious, because then people imagine a private boarding school, you know, really rich kid kind of school. In a sense, it was a little like that, but it wasn't like boarding school, you know, hoity-toity prestigious. But it was a very aggressive learning system. Okay, and as with many high schools, not just private high schools, but many high schools, you were constantly told that what you're doing in high school is going to affect you later in life. What you're doing in high school is going to set you up for a success. What you do in high school is going to impact the rest of your life. And I think being in that environment definitely made it, I don't want to say worse, it made it more intense, because I was in a very high level academics kind of school. So all my peers, they are trying to be, you know, they are going on to be doctors, they are going on to be lawyers, I don't actually know off the top of my head, keep in mind, like, I don't know fucking everyone in my grade, but off the top of my head, out of 60 kids. Fuck, maybe I should do some research back into how many there were in high school. I'm 24, by the way, so this is like 6 years after high school. 60 kids? 40 kids? I don't know. Graduating year, either had 40 or 60 kids. I know that's a lot of a gap, but I don't know of any off the top of my head that didn't do some sort of secondary education. Whether or not it was uni, whether or not it was, I know a few people went to flight school and stuff like that, but there had to be a few other than me. I want to say there have to be, with those statistics, surely there were 5 other kids that didn't go to do a secondary education. But I could be wrong. But I'm thinking, like, surely, I just can't, I even asked one of my friends the other day, I just cannot think of any other kids that did not do some sort of secondary education. That was the kind of school we were in. I've done some educated research, meaning that I have gone through my memory box and pulled out my graduation little pamphlet of everyone's little quotes and aspirations and everything. We actually had 89 kids in our graduating grade. I don't know how I got 40 or 60, but our graduating year was bloody huge in comparison to the previous years. We were a big grade for this school. So 89 kids. First off, I should have read this pamphlet before making this video because it's actually like made me spiral more. It didn't make me spiral more, that's being dramatic. But when I kid you not, like 80% of future aspirations from kids, which I hope all of them did this. Like everyone in our grade was so just critical thinkers. Like they were like, it was a great grade of good quality thinkers. But looking at all of these future aspirations sets in stone that clearly the fact that I don't have any aspirations or vision might be my issue. Because when I tell you like 80% of these future aspirations are like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to do this career. I'm going to do this career. There's even a few, there's not too many, but there's a few being like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make bank, like money. But there's so many of like, I'm going to do this career. I'm going to do this. There are like, I want to raise that number. Maybe there's like 10 kids from my grade. Also, I keep calling it secondary education. Don't fucking ask me why. I don't know why I keep calling it secondary education in this video. I meant upper or higher education, tertiary education. Don't ask me why. I want to raise that number. I want to say that may have been around 10 kids that didn't go to some sort of upper education or higher level education. But that's a very naive judgment upon their quotes, because obviously I didn't know everyone in my grade. It was like I knew everyone, but I didn't personally know them. So maybe it's more like over 10, maybe over 10. That might be stretching it. I want to say this one guy's future aspiration because I feel like it really is how I've felt the last few years. I won't say the name because obviously I feel a bit bad sharing it in like a video online. It is so insightful. It's so good. I love it so much. Barely spoke to this man, keep in mind, different social circle, like barely spoke to this man, but this was in his future aspirations section. And I think, let me just say it. Our society has set us a clear goal: money. Those who have found their passions are no longer pulled along by this unstoppable current. Unfortunately, I am not one of those. So I guess I'll see where the flow takes me and I'll try to enjoy the ride. Seriously, I think I'll just get an office job. I'll leave you with that. I won't leave you with that. I really hope he has done something well and hasn't just gotten an office job, because I think why I'm getting that 10 number, maybe 10 or more, is because there actually is a lot more future aspirations than I originally thought from my grade that seem to have a similar mindset of me or were going through the similar things that I was going through. But again, as you'll see in this video, I didn't talk to anyone about it. Well, I did. I said I wasn't going to uni, but it was a mess. And when I tell you, it wasn't just, the kids wanted to be lawyers and doctors. It was the environment of their parents expected that, which I get. I completely understand that. And there are many expectations. Like, again, this is coming from a very privileged lens. I did not have a father, telling me you need to be a doctor or you need to be a lawyer or you need to do this kind of job. I had a dad literally from as young as I can remember burning into my brain, oh yeah, you need to just enjoy what you do. Oh, you just need to enjoy the daily life. Oh, you just need to enjoy what you do. Like, you know, he never had an ounce of care whether or not whatever I went on to was a low paying, high paying, career driven, competitive environment. He did not care. He burned into our brains that we just needed to enjoy what we did, and we just needed to kind of enjoy our daily life, because that's what matters. He's just like, you work so much of your life, you just need to find some sort of enjoyment out of it. So keep in mind, like, I literally had two different worlds of like academics. How hairy is my armpit? I had two different worlds of like academics being very aggressive, like, you know, it was a complicated system. It was the International Baccalaureate. I say that as if any of you know what the fuck that means, but it's prestigious. I don't know. Might have gone downhill since, you know, I was in high school, but they kept being like, oh, you know, this is the system that gets you into unis and the really good unis. Again, I never applied for a uni. So with that environment, you can perfectly understand how my idea of success was kind of molded as a teenager, which is totally normal. It's what happens as teenagers. We are being imprinted with so many different ideologies and so many different ideas or perspectives. Things are gonna stick that are gonna slowly go away as you get older, because that's just getting older, having realizations and growing up. That's just what it is. And don't get me wrong, I used to set a lot of goals in high school. I was a goal setter. When they brought up those SMART goals and what you wanted to do and what your grades wanted to be at, I was there. I was goal setting, okay? I'll give you some reference. Our grading system was out of 7, and I was always striving for more. I enjoyed studying. Yes, I was that kid. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed the challenge. I still enjoy challenges, and I still enjoy just the challenge of learning, but I definitely was always striving for more and perfect marks. I had my predicted grades, and I'd want to keep them, or I'd want to surpass them, and I'd work towards that, and I'd be constantly working towards those goals, and would be very motivated to, you know, if I was graded out of 5, you know, oh, I'll get a 6 next time, I'll do this and this and this. I was very motivated and did like those goals. My goals weren't my own in the end, and I think that was a little bit of a harsh realization, because I did enjoy working towards these higher grades, and I did enjoy that aspect of it, but I think I kept working towards these numbers without, again, seeing the end result. So maybe my issue is that I don't have a vision. We're not going to have that realization. But while everyone was applying for uni and stressed, and they just rushing around to apply for uni, everyone was talking about what unis they were going to, everyone was talking about what grades they needed, everyone was uni obsessed, as they would be, like, it's totally normal. I just felt quite disconnected from the whole process, like outsider looking in. And don't get me wrong, I always had the opportunity to go to uni. I mean, I did have the opportunity to go to uni, but fuck me, I do not want that debt, and I do not regret not going to uni at all. I would have no idea. I still would have no idea what I'd go to uni for. There was definitely a little bit of outsider looking in feeling, and I felt so disconnected from my peers at some point. I just remember having such a tough realization of like, why am I working towards these grades and no one, like, I'm not applying to uni, I'm not doing any of this, why have I been working this hard? And I do specifically remember even one of my peers, which, like, it sounds harsh, but she's not wrong, but also probably didn't come out right. I remember one of my peers asking me, oh, what unis are you applying for? And I'm just being like, oh no, like, I'm not going to any, like, I don't know what I want to study, I don't really have the drive for a secondary education when I don't know I didn't know what I was doing. And I remember her saying, when I was like, oh, I'm not applying to any unis, I'm not going to uni, I remember her saying, oh, what a waste. Because like I did well with my grades, I did all that work, and I wasn't actually going to use those grades for much at all. Final exams hit, but I wasn't stressed, which sounds like a blessing, but again, the disconnectedness with my peers was actually probably weirding me out a lot more. Not weirding me out, that's the wrong wording. Like, it was kind of sending me through a bit of a spiral, because I was obviously like nervous for exams. Like, you know, you get the little jitters, but everyone around me was so stressed about their grades, so stressed that they had to hit a certain thing in order to get to these unis. And after chasing these numbers for so long, uni didn't even matter to me. Final exams really didn't matter to me as long as I didn't fail, which I didn't. And I knew I wouldn't fail, like I would have had to really fuck up, but having that realization was a bit of a harsh reality check. It did hit me hard. And I do remember I probably should have talked to more of my peers about it, because I felt so disconnected from my friends and everything. And I remember just thinking, what am I doing? Like, what had I been working for towards all this time? I was working towards goals that weren't my own, which is normal. Like, I was a teenager, you know, I could have gone down the other end of the spectrum where by the time I got to final exams, I did want to go to uni and I did want to pursue a certain career path. And it was, thank God, I had studied this hard and had good grades. So it could have been amazing, but it was just, I went through the other direction and I was just like, shit, what am I actually doing? It's no one's fault. It's no one's fault at all. It's not my own fault. It's not like my teacher's fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just, again, going through the emotions of growing up and kind of realizing, shit, none of this really concerns me. And it still doesn't concern me. I don't regret not going to uni. It's just, I still don't know what I would study. With that realization, I did actually struggle towards the end of exams, because I completely lost motivation. I don't regret all the hard work I put in. Again, I love putting in hard work. I am not a half job Harry. I love putting in hard work, to be honest. I do. It really fills my little bubble, like makes me happy. But I also didn't want to work so hard towards the end of exams when the numbers didn't matter to me, if that makes sense. Like, there was that, I started slacking a bit because I was just like, what am I working towards? It was a weird time. I still did quite well on my exams, but not the result that I imagined or had previously set in my goals. But also towards the end, I did slack because I was just like, what's the point? But I still did great. Like, that's just me being, I don't want to say an overachiever, but I think a lot of people would actually describe me as an overachiever. That's just life. It was, for someone who was so motivated for so long, it did make me feel like I was missing something, because all of these people around me, all these peers, kids, friends, these people I've known had goals, ambition, and drive. They had the next step. They had something to move on to. They had something to work towards. And I was left with my exam results with no satisfaction or dissatisfaction. I was just directionless in a sense, which is quite fucking normal after school. It is a normal concept to be directionless. I think just because I was so in my own head and looking at my other peers having all these goals and stuff, I felt so alone when I'm not. And I am very much aware of that. I think everyone feels directionless after school. It's just, I felt like there was something wrong with me as, you know, 18-year-old, 17-year-old Karma. I felt like there was something wrong with me because I'm like, fuck, all these kids know what they want to do. They didn't even know what they want to do. Like, some of them were still figuring it out. You know, you can change your bloody courses or whatever. It's very complicated, but like, some of them didn't know what they want to do. But I think because they had that next step, I felt so like alone and isolated, which I wasn't. And I probably just should have spoken to my friends more about how I felt, but I didn't, because I bottled things up. And it does come down to the differences of the idea of success, because one of my peers, you know, we were speaking and he said he didn't mind working a full-time job that he didn't particularly like, as long as he was getting paid a good wage. And obviously if he got 6 to 8 weeks holiday a year, he could do whatever he wanted to do. And I get that. But I personally could imagine nothing worse than that. And neither side is right or wrong. It's just a different mindset. Like, the idea of that just sounds shit to me. Like, I want to be enjoying the everyday. And again, that's probably because of how my dad brought me up. It's just, I want to enjoy the everyday. I'm not saying I fucking work a stellar fucking job that just, you know, I am happy in it 24/7. But it's a pretty, you know, I'm grateful for my average job. It's not average. That's like, I don't want that to sound like a bad thing, but it's also, you know, I'm not out there being a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. I'm not. I think Dad's idea of truly just enjoying what you like every day really infected me. And as I get older, I incorporate it more. I can let go of the idea of this success that I have in my head and just slowly start to enjoy the everyday life, which I'm loving. Like, I definitely think that's what made me want to make this video, is because I feel like there's a sense that you need goals or you need a vision, and I don't have one. And you know what? You could look at me and think, fuck, you're lost in life. But hey, there's probably 10,000 of you that are like me. And the weight of my peers asking me what I was gonna do in life and what uni I was going to and where I was going to was fucking terrifying. Like, I did not have that at home. I did not have, you know, Dad was just so light and breezy and, you know, oh, you'll figure it out once you end school, you know, you'll try a few things and you'll just slowly figure it out. But like, I had peers asking me, oh, what are you studying? Oh, where are you going for uni? Or what uni are you going to? And I'd be like, fucking, I don't know, nowhere. Like, and the thing is, everyone else was probably as terrified as I was, because they were moving to all these countries and going to uni and starting this massive step in their life. Like, they were starting this huge, you know, this huge thing they were committing to. Like, uni is a commitment. Like, and I'm sure that some of my peers would have dropped out or changed, you know, degrees or changed shit. Like, it was probably as fucking terrifying for them as it was for me. I just think, because it seemed like I was the outsider one that wasn't going to uni and doing all these things, it made it seem like I was so alone and isolated, when fucking, we probably all, obviously there'd be kids that were so excited to go to uni, but we were probably all as terrified as each other because we were moving on from the stage in life. It was just because I was that in my own head and isolated and alone, feeling like, why the fuck am I the only one not going to uni that I knew of. And no one mentions the dramatic shift. Like, maybe this is because I went from high school to working. Maybe it's different when you do uni. You'd have to let me know if any of you have done uni. But there's a dramatic shift in working from going to high school. It's a bit confronting. I enjoyed the measurability of grades. The measurability of grades? We'll see. I knew exactly where I was at. Like, you know, if I got, again, grading system was at a 7. So if I was at a 5, I knew how to work towards a 6. Like, all your life was just getting your grades up. You go to work, you complete your task, you get paid. And in theory, when you're like a teenager, you're like, oh, you get paid, that's amazing. But then you have all these bills. So it's like, the reward system's a bit different. It's a bit weird. It's not like you get graded at work. Like, sure, like, I'm fortunate enough that I've always worked in a very appreciating work environment, and there has been verbal, like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, or, you know, you do this, oh, you do this, oh, you know. I'm very fortunate that I've always worked in a positive work environment. I definitely think that's shaped me. There's been bad experiences, but I've never worked in a negative work environment. But there's that weird shift where you're not looking at grades anymore. You're kind of just going to work, doing your job, getting paid. That's your life. It sounds very depressing, but it's not as depressing. That's why I'm like, enjoy the everyday. There is a weird progression between those two. And I think it's a little bit hard when you go straight from high school to working, and it's just different, especially as an overachiever. Like, I want a bit more, you know? I'm doing a great job. I want a bit more. I don't know, a weird subject. Working and then getting paid every week is just not as satisfying as getting a grade. I know I'm a fucking weirdo, okay? Maybe, you know, you could fucking argue, oh, you wouldn't be like that if you're working a high paying job. Yeah, sure. But like, also, I don't need many things. I've come to that realization. That's a separate realization for another video, but I don't need many things. I don't even need many people. But you could argue that, you know, you can set goals and grow within that company. Easy done. I've always worked for small businesses, so it's a bit more complicated than that because, yeah, this is small team environment. It's weird. What if I don't see myself growing in that company? This is a whole other topic, okay? Like, just the idea of ever being a manager, I just don't know if I could do it. So I don't want to go into that bag of cats. I may hate goals, okay? And it may trigger me when a video tells me the solution to my problem is to goal set, but I do use goals in my life. As I said, I'm a to-do list person, okay? I'm just not constantly doing them for success, where I don't have a final picture or a final goal. I guess my goal is to make my days, weeks, and months like as happy as possible, like as enjoyable as possible. So I'll have like, I'm a habitual person. I'm a habitual person, okay? I love habits, I love routines, I love consistency. So that's probably my goal in life, is to be consistent, but not too rigid, because I can be a little bit of a rigid planner psycho. But we're letting that go, we're trying to be better. And I want to do something I enjoy, like daily, weekly, monthly. I want to enjoy every day of my life, which, you know, I think in a sense, that could be a really, you know, high goal. You know, I know a lot of people might see that as unattainable. A lot of people might, you know, think, geez, that's a fucking ridiculous goal. But I guess that is my goal. Like, out of all things, that's what I think about. And, you know, at the end of the day, before I go to bed, I'm like, oh, I enjoyed today. Like, fuck, that was a bit. I enjoy, that's what I think. If I just want to go to bed thinking, oh, I enjoyed today. I might have random things that I call goals, like doing a handstand, okay? I want to do a handstand and a pull up at the gym. That's, you know, a goal. But the thing is, it just doesn't drive me. Like, it doesn't, sure, it's something I want to do someday, but I don't feel the pressure from it. I don't want to feel the pressure from it. I go to the gym, do a few things to work towards that goal, but do I really care about it? Like, in fucking 2 years and I can't do a handstand or a pull-up, am I really gonna care? No, because the whole point of that thing is just, oh, I'd like to do it someday, and I just enjoy going to the gym regularly. Like, that's more so, you know, I like the consistency of going to the gym. I like the endorphins it gives me. I like the whole experience of it. Like, I'm a weirdo. I'm not a weirdo. That's normal. I think a lot of people would agree with that sentiment. I think it's just social media. It's like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that. I'm just so verbal dribble right now. It's ridiculous. I just enjoy the process. That's why I like enjoying. I want to enjoy my daily, monthly, yearly life, because I enjoy the process of things. It's probably why I struggle the most with art goals. Goals just make me feel so suffocated, as I said. I just feel like I'm put into a box. I don't know if I want to perfect a particular thing or a particular medium. I don't know if I want to paint a certain subject for the rest of my life or in a certain medium for the rest of my life. I just kind of like pulling out stuff and being regular with art. That's probably what I enjoy. Again, that's, I guess, my goal is being regular in art. But that's where the spiral happens, is when you fucking look at anything that's like, oh, you must be successful, you need to be successful. What's your goals? What's your goals? I do art like regularly. Like, I don't, like, do I have a goal of like hosting an exhibition? Maybe? I don't know. This is, again, maybe I just have no vision or aspirations, but I guess I'm making this video to kind of talk it out, possibly. No, I'm making this video to just seeing if anyone watches it, really. Whatever. At the end of the day, I like the practice of it. I love practicing art. I love going to the gym, practicing. I love baking, practicing. I just love I just love doing things on a regular basis instead of striving for these goals. They make me feel like I'm putting myself in a box when I like the freedom of just doing what I want. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just feel like goals are such an endless cycle of, oh, I must do that. I'll be good when I do that, or I must achieve. I put enough pressure on myself on a day-to-day life. I don't need to put pressure on myself to fucking succeed in something, because I don't think that goal is what's gonna make me happy. And I fucking have said, mate, what's that goal counter? Said it so many times. But then I still go into the cycle of, am I ambitious enough? Or maybe I don't have enough drive. But I think that's, again, just because how I think is just slightly different from, you need to be this to be successful. I don't really care about that anymore. I just wanna enjoy. Just wanna enjoy. I probably just hate the word success. That's probably the root of this video, is me hating that bloody word, success. And in order to achieve success, you need goals. Drives me insane. And I don't know why. It's probably because I feel like I'm just wasting away, or I'm a waste of a human if I don't have some sort of success or some sort of, achievement. Again, I think that's just because what I classify as success and an achievement has been distorted from my very academic high school experience, when I would actually class myself as very successful. And I am slowly turning into what I envisioned and what I wanted as a teenager. It's a slow journey, but I am slowly turning into the woman that I've always imagined of myself, which sounds so bloody cringe, but it's the truth, and it's what's making me more confident in my life, is that I'm focusing on I'm focusing less on all these little things that just don't matter to me, or I don't care about. I just don't care about it. Other people care about it. I might care about it, I might not, but it's time to just let go of some of all these pressures that I'm putting on myself. I just had to pick up my partner and dog from their lovely nature walk. Where was I? My hatred for goals. I put a lot of pressure on myself normally, okay? I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I'm kind of sick of it. Probably like many overachievers, it is a constant pressure that never goes away, but I don't want to be bound by this idea of success that I might not ever have, and I don't really need to have it. I don't think any of us need to. It's kind of whether you want it or not, or what your idea of success is, or whatever. And you might be watching this like, what's the point of this video? Well, I don't know, to be honest. I just filmed me painting my artwork and chatted for a bit, longer than I would have liked, and there was a lot of more verbal dribble than I would have liked. I don't have a plan for my social media yet. Just like I don't have a plan for my art, and I don't know where I'm going with my art. I don't know where I'm going with my social media. I don't know where I'm going with my career, life. I don't know. I don't know anything. And I think I'm really comfortable and confident saying that now. And I think the idea of not knowing really has scared me for quite some time of my life. And that's probably why I hate goals so much, because it makes me face the reality that I don't know. And as a bloody planner, I want to know. I want to have a plan, and I want to have a vision. But maybe that's just not meant for me. I might not ever succeed through social media. I might not ever succeed with my art, but if I enjoy it every day, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty satisfied with that. And so far, I'm a lot fucking happier than I was at the start of the year. Let me tell you, 2024 was a ride. Yeah. Maybe that's the point of the video. That doesn't need to be a point. I don't know if I'll ever have structure to my videos. Maybe I will, who knows? Again, I don't know, and I'm comfortable with that now. Comfortable and confident with that now. Confidence a stretch. I don't know when I'll hit that total point, but I'm comfortable with it, so yes. As for this artwork, I think this was an epitome of my thought process, because I wanted to get lost in the process and not care about the end result, which I did. And to be honest, when I initially finished this artwork, I did not like it at all. And as I keep looking at it, as I keep editing stuff for it, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, I'm liking it a lot more. And I don't think it's my best work, and I don't think it's the style I'll go down. It has helped me kind of figure out what kind of styles I want to experiment with and what I kind of want to do with my art. But again, I don't really know what I want to do. But it's helped me hone in those ideas a bit more. And I even messed up with this artwork. You'll see me bloody removing gum strip tape from this by hand with water on a gouache artwork, which is stressful. But I did it because I forgot to put painter's tape down. But I didn't let that stop me from continuing the artwork. I didn't let that mistake make me start it again or give up. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna paint the rest of this artwork out. If we get it out of the tape, we get it out. If we ruin it, we ruin it. Who cares? It's just an artwork sitting in my bloody art room anyway at this point. I really enjoyed doing it, and I hope you enjoyed this video the slightest bit, all 20 of you. Bye. See you next time. If there's a next time in 6 months, a year, who knows?